All right, let's dive into how we can boost our efficiency in both work and life with something I'd like to call 5+1. This webinar will last for about 1.5 to 2 hours. Make sure that you get involved. Make sure that you note down whatever questions you have to ask and ask them because we want to hear from you. But make sure you keep it positive, make sure you keep it respectful, and make sure you also take down notes, make screenshots, and do whatever helps you remember. And at the end of this presentation, you can always write down your questions and ask them. You can be sure that they will be answered. Now, for those meeting me for the first time, my name is John Bose. I've been a network marketer for the last 8 to 9 years. I joined the Skyward community in March 2019, and I began to actively promote in August 2020. I am currently the regional curator for Nigeria and also the senior community manager overseeing the community managers in India, in English and French-speaking countries of Africa, as well as in some other regions where we have community managers. And I recently became the director of the African macro region, working with the curators in Senegal, Cameroon, Nigeria, and Ghana. Now, today we'll be discussing a number of things, one of which is the Eisenhower matrix, which is an effective method for time management. We would also talk about how to systematize and fix tasks. And then I'll give you tips on how to deal with difficult tasks. And we'll talk about the principle that helps you get 80% of the results with just 20% of effort. And we're going to learn about a system that ensures you never miss another deadline. Finally, we're going to learn how to stop overthinking and start doing. Then for the most amazing part, we're going to give you a tool that you can start using to scale your team and your personal investment. The goal of today's webinar is to give you the tools that will help you increase your efficiency both in work and life, as well as the tools to improve your results in Skyward community. Now, let me tell you about the Smart World community training platform for Skyward community partners. Their main goal, or the main goal of this training platform, is to help the partners of Skyward community to grow faster on the Skyward community business model, to help you automate those processes that consume your time, saving you more time and costing you less effort. Now, how do they achieve that goal? By simply bringing together courses from experienced instructors, international speakers, as well as leading experts into one place. And these are not courses that are randomly selected, but they are specifically chosen based on their relevance to the Skyward community partners. So we have courses on social media, self-presentation, personal branding, scaling, courses on sales, as well as courses on team building. And we have a whole lot more on our platform. Now, these courses are comprehensive and they are also very practical. For example, we have a course like the Professional SWC Agent course that teaches you how to communicate with big investors. And from some of the reviews we've gotten, we can tell that people love learning on the platform because the courses are short, they are easy to understand, and they have very clear training systems. And it's designed to provide quality training that is practical. And here you can see some of the reviews of those who have already studied on the platform. Now, some more reviews can be seen here. People who have used the platform are saying a lot of amazing things about how this platform has been meaningful and helpful for them. And if you haven't already used this platform, you definitely should, so that we can be hearing from you next about how this platform has helped you improve your results. Now, the Smart World Community Platform team has spent years developing products and planning systems that enhances work efficiency. And today we'll be sharing some of them with you, sharing with you best practical strategies to help you achieve your goals. Now let's dive into our presentation for today. 5+1 to increase efficiency in work and life. The first tool we'll be learning about is a tool that helps you to sort things out. Now let's face it. Sometimes life can feel like you are performing a juggling act, trying to balance health, family, work, personal goals, and a whole lot of other things. So how do we sort things out? This is where a tool like the Eisenhower matrix will come to the rescue. This tool is a time management tool that helps you to prioritize tasks on your to-do list. It means you must first of all have a to-do list. Now, with the Eisenhower matrix, you can prioritize tasks by categorizing them into 4 different quadrants based on 2 key variables, urgency and importance. Now, for the tasks which are in category number 1, we have the tasks which are urgent as well as important. And these are the tasks you must do first. For example, if a fire is in the building, the first thing you want to do is put out that fire. Next, we have the tasks which are important, but they are not urgent. And for this task, you need to schedule them. That is to decide a point in the future wherein which to do them. This can include tasks like learning a new skill, for instance. On the third item on our Eisenhower matrix, or the third category of our Eisenhower matrix, we have these tasks which are urgent, but they are not important. And for such tasks, you want to delegate them. And this includes tasks like routine emails or scheduling of meetings. And this is parts where having a personal assistant for those who can afford those is very important. And lastly, we have tasks which are not important, neither are they urgent. And for this task, you want to delete them. For example, spending time on social media, doom scrolling. These are things that are not important, neither are they urgent. So I want you to think about the task on your to-do list and think about these categories and see where each of the tasks on your to-do will fit in this matrix. Once again, tasks which are urgent and important, you do them first. Tasks which are important but not urgent, you schedule them for a point in the future wherein which you should do them. And for tasks which are urgent but they're not important, you want to delegate this task. Finally, you want to delete the tasks which are not important and not urgent. Now, the Eisenhower matrix is suitable for many areas and advantageous in many ways. Now, who and how should this Eisenhower matrix be applicable, and who should apply it? First of all, to use the Eisenhower matrix, you need to have thought through all the tasks you have to perform for a period of time. This can be, for example, a day or a week. And then you need to have prepared a to-do list. The next thing you need to do is to sort the items on your to-do list into the adequate quadrants in your Eisenhower matrix according to the urgency and the importance. And then finally, you need to now take the necessary action to know what to do, what to schedule, what to delegate, and what to delete. You can use tools like Excel or Google Sheets to build your own Eisenhower matrix. And you can categorize on your sheet and then fix your task in the appropriate categories. This Eisenhower matrix is especially useful to help you sort things out so that you can focus your energy and focus your attention on only the tasks that are most important and urgent. therefore ensuring that your energy is focused and directed, as opposed to being so busy and yet unproductive, like a cat that's chasing its tail, running around in circles and never actually getting anywhere. So, who are the people and what are some ways that you can apply the Eisenhower matrix? First of all, in everyday life, you can apply the Eisenhower matrix. And who are those who can use this? People in the workspace can use the Eisenhower matrix because you have a lot of tasks that comes your way, whether you are a worker or a manager. So you can apply the Eisenhower matrix if you are in the workspace. And also, if you are a product director with several things to do for a product launch, you can also apply the Eisenhower matrix in categorizing your tasks and sorting them out. And even you viewing this webinar, you can also apply the Eisenhower matrix to your to-do list and begin to sort things out and prioritize and focus your energy more effectively. One of the key takeaways from the Eisenhower matrix productivity tool is that it is best to identify one priority task and focus your energy on it. What does that mean? It means that if you try to multitask, you will probably not be very effective or productive. Now, for those who have tried in the past to multitask, be honest, how did that work out for you? I'm sure not so well. Because you probably noticed while trying to multitask that you lost focus, and at some point or some period, you forgot some important elements in the process or even missed a very important deadline. So multitasking really is one of the enemies of your productivity. Write this down. It is best to focus on one thing at a time. Multitasking is dangerous to my productivity. And always remember. And then finally, when you achieve what you have focused your energy on, it is important to reward yourself. I cannot stress this part enough. It's very important to motivate yourself for success and to motivate yourself for fulfillment. So when you achieve that big goal, when you smash that thing on your to-do list, reward yourself and motivate yourself. Now, the next tool we are going to talk about is a tool that helps you to store information, to distribute information, and to remember. Very importantly, because if you engage in a practice like mindfulness meditation, you would have observed that thoughts come into your mind. Several kinds of thoughts enter your mind on a daily basis. In fact, on a minute by minute basis. And our brains are like huge memory cards, but they can get overloaded and they can accidentally also delete important thought files. That is, they can take the thought that should be in your conscious mind and move them to your subconscious or even to the unconscious part of your mind. So, how do you ensure that you remember every important thing? Well, we recommend that you start with a simple planner. Choose a planner and divide things into days, weeks, and months. And at first, it is best to keep it simple. Just keep a planner for two categories, one for work, one for home. And this will allow you remember important things, meet deadlines, and actually begin to understand your productivity. Now, let's talk about types of planners, and there are different types, but we're going to just talk about a few of them, like the paper planners. The paper planners, they have the upside that they offer you the variations for creative designs, options where you can, have amazing designs or creativity infused into your planning process, since you get the option to create these on your own. But the downside is it can be very inconvenient when you want to record a large flow of information and you want to record quickly. So this might be a bit hectic to use in such situations. We also have Notes. That's the traditional notes that come on your phone. And these things, they offer you quick access to record because sometimes they can do written as well as audio recording. However, the interface is not something you can change, and it may not be something that's suitable for everyone. And for that, we have other options like planning applications that offers you variety, and you can actually use third-party planning applications. But then some features of this application may only be available in the paid version. So it's for you to take some time, figure out which of these planning applications or planning methods works best for you and begin to apply it. Now, let us talk about the Pareto principle, also known as the 80-20 rule. This principle basically says 20% of your effort will give you 80% of the result, and that the other 80% of your effort only produces 20% of the result. What does that tell you? It tells you that by selecting the minimum of the most important action, it is possible to quickly get a significant part of your planned result. So therefore, the goal is to first correctly identify what is the minimum most important action you need to carry out. And once you have identified that, focus on that identified minimum 20%, which will give you the most of your results. So since we are talking more about results, let us now talk about productivity in the workplace. Now, think about your time and your hours spent at work. How much of these hours do you actually spend working? How much of these hours are actually productive? Think about it for a minute. Do you get distracted when you're working by some non-work related activity? I think it happens to some of us, even the best of us. And you will be right to say that you are paid for your hours on the job. However, you are promoted for your decent results. And whenever you're promoted, it motivates you. It inspires you in various ways. The monetary reward is an incentive. You feel a sense of accomplishment, and you value the importance of your work. So results are very important. So now let us talk and look at ways that you can maximize your focus in order to improve your results. Now, to maximize your focus, you should try a concentration setting where when you are at work, you devote time at work specifically to work. This might involve you shutting down distraction, maybe turning off the notifications on your phone, anything that helps you to concentrate and to devote the time at work specifically to work. And when you do this, what happens is that when you switch away from work to a non-work related activity, your brain will actually thank you. Your brain will reward you with dopamine, and you'll be excited to switch away from work and to switch back, and your brain would understand that time for work is meant for work. And then time for fun, you can then have a rewarding feeling of accomplishment that you have earned this because you have worked so hard for it. Remember, perhaps you should even write this down. No matter how much you want to help, no task is going to be assigned to you unless your manager believes you have the capacity to carry it out and to provide results. Results, very important. And with this in mind, you have to focus on what really works, because your employer, as well as your clients, for those in business, they are doing the same thing. They are filtering. They are looking for the most effective, the most efficient, and the person who really provides the best results. And they are doing the same thing. And you would not want them to skip you and to choose your competition. So that's why you must be brutal with yourself and ensure you produce results by focusing on the minimum of the most important action that give you the most results. Now, let us talk about deadlines and red lines. And these are also helpful for productivity. So, What is a deadline? A deadline is a specific point in time by which a goal or a task should have been achieved. For example, if you have a birthday party and you are to attend this birthday party at a specific date, if you show up a day later, even if you show up with gifts, the party is already over and you've already missed it. So a deadline is a specific point in time where something should happen. And if you miss it, no matter how much you try to redeem the time, it's just not possible. According to the SMART technique, a task needs to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, as well as time bound. The aspect of time boundary tells you a lot about deadline. It means that if you have a goal without a time boundary, without a deadline, that goal is merely a wish. It must have a deadline. Otherwise, it's just a wish. Now, let us look at this example of a SMART goal. Now, if you look at this example saying, increase my monthly income by 10% by implementing new sales technique by September 2023. The time of 2023 in this illustration is the time boundary, which is also the deadline. If you take out that time boundary, this becomes just a mere wish. Now, look at this other example. File your reports this month, or file your reports by the 25th of this month. Does it not feel different? Because when you say file your report this month, it really doesn't give you any sense of urgency. But when you say file your report by the 25th of this month, it feels completely different. You feel more urgency, more responsibility when there is a set date. And a countdown will just begin in your head, in your mind. And a rough outline of the things you need to do will just begin to formulate in your mind. So this is why a deadline is absolutely important. And what other thing a deadline does for you is that it builds in you the confidence that the task you outlined is actually achievable. And sometimes you may wish to be more proactive by setting a red line. What is a red line? We've just talked about a deadline, and now we're introducing to you the concept of a red line. Now, what is a red line? A red line is a deadline, but a deadline that has been shortened by a certain amount of time. And in this way, you can finish your task earlier than the deadline so that you can get feedback, make changes in time for the actual deadline. So a red line is important and it's proactive. If you want to meet your deadlines, that's fine. But to take it a step further, you can set red lines. So if your deadline is the 25th, you can say your red line is the 20th. Finish the task on the 20th and you have 5 more days to receive feedback and make changes before the actual deadline. Now, let us talk about doing. Like the saying goes, one good action, one, is more than 1,000 good intentions. One good action is more than 1,000 good intentions. So let us talk about action. Let us talk about doing. You can analyze, assume all you want, but it's the actual doing that gives you meaningful experience, and getting experience comes from actually doing something. Not thinking about doing, but actually doing. It's just how some people think they're very good at martial arts. But the only way to know is to actually get in the ring and fight with a martial artist practitioner. You cannot know or experience by just thinking. You actually have to do. Because with sufficient experience, even the most difficult and complex tasks becomes very simple. So get over your fear. Get over your fear of starting and give yourself the chance to learn from experience. Don't be too afraid to start, because when you start, you gain meaningful experience. And even if you make mistakes, you can always iterate, correct, and repeat. Now, even if someone seems to do better than you with a certain task, I want you to remember everyone has a different starting point. So don't beat yourself up because someone does it better than you. Give yourself room to improve. The only room you cannot fully occupy is room for improvement. And I want you to write that down so you don't forget. The only room you cannot fully occupy is room for improvement. Now, it is true. Difficult and uncomfortable tasks may be scary at first. They may, but they are often the same ones that builds endurance and perseverance in us. And you shouldn't run away from them, because they are the ones that build in you the perseverance, the resilience, and the endurance. Now, I want you to cast your mind back to the beginning of this presentation and recall the conversation we've been talking about productivity and tools for efficiency. I want you to think about this in the context of a team, not just as an individual. Of course, it's important to be a productive individual, but we want to focus specifically on team productivity, because we recognize that teamwork makes the dream work, and together, everyone achieves more. So we do not encourage lone rangers, even though we know we have them. We encourage teamwork and team builders. Now, those who have their own teams, those who have run their own businesses, they are very well aware that sometimes it's easier to delegate than to carry everything on your own. Now, I'm going to present to us a tool that will help your team building processes. And for those who have structures, this tool will help you with your structures. And after I present to you this tool, I'm going to give you another bonus. So make sure you stick around for that. Now, let us start with discussing some of the challenges of actually setting up a team. I'm sure you will agree with me that putting together a large team is hard work. Let me introduce you to the Smart World community training platform for partners and some of the unique features and benefits of the platform, which you can use to motivate and to support and give information to every new partner in your network and in your team structure. At some point, a new partner comes into your structure, and sometimes you have more than one, you have several of them. Every single one of them is going to need your help. They're going to need your attention. And here is where the training platform of the Smart World community becomes really effective in your team building process. This platform is designed to help your team members get quality training, which they can instantly put into practice. And using this for your team building processes saves you valuable time. Now, have you ever had questions from new partners that required you to spend a lot of time searching for information? Well, I believe for anyone who has built a team, you must have had such experience. And I want to tell you that with the training platform of the Smart World community, you have all the information you need in one place. It's very useful, especially for new members onboarding, because we have the basic training course created specifically for onboarding new partners into the project. So you don't have to spend time having to do it by yourself. Through this basic training course, the platform essentially helps you handle all the incoming objections, communicate the company's values, the company's goals, and the mission to your new prospects and your new partners. And our content are very unique. You're not going to find them anywhere else. And the trainings that we offer are tailored to the Skyward community partner according to the Skyward community business model. And this facilitates easy application of the training material. This training is prepared by experts in various fields. And the platform was basically created for us to facilitate the work we do, to automate the work we do, and to multiply the results. Remember, we talked about focusing on the minimum action that gives you the maximum result. So here we have also helped to facilitate and automate those minimum action so that we are just multiplying the results. It also makes the process of your team building very easy, ensuring that everyone has the right information and making the process of ensuring everyone has the right information much more easier. Now, the success of your structure depends on how well your people are trained. The better trained they are, the easier it will be to pass information across to them. The easier it will be for them to understand the information that you pass across to them. And when information flows effectively, what happens? Growth will follow, both for you, your team, your community, and your entire region. So it's absolutely important to give them the proper training, because where there is knowledge, there is clarity. Where there is knowledge, there is boldness. Where there is knowledge, there is self-confidence. But where there is no knowledge, there is confusion. Where there is no knowledge, there is timidity. Where there is no knowledge, there is self-doubt. Training really is about sharing information. But the question is, how do you ensure that what you know for which you want to train the next person is 100% correct, 100% complete, and 100% true? For instance, you have only 50% of the total knowledge. This 50% you have is your own 100%, because this is all you know. So even if you give everything you know in training your partners will still lack the full picture. And in many cases, this is what happens. Even when you deliver all that you know, you may not know everything. So your partners do not get the information complete. They only get the much of what you know. And in many cases, even delivering all that you know is impossible. Why? Because sometimes it's due to personal limitation. Sometimes it's due to communication barriers, or even the recipient's inability to absorb the information you're communicating. Because training depends on how well you know the information, how well you pass the information, and how well the next person receives the information. So it is very easy to have the best intention and try to train, but you don't have the complete knowledge, or the other person does not have the ability to receive the knowledge that you have, even when you have complete knowledge. Which is why do not joke with the adaptation and training platform. If you are not using this platform, you should use this platform. Now, like they all say, or like the old saying goes, the taste of the pudding is in the eating. The effectiveness of a tool is in its usage. So if you have not been using this tool, start using it from today. Where and how do you start using this tool? The first step is get acquainted with the platform by logging in on the website using your same login details you use on the SWC main website. At the basic level, you start as a partner. At the advanced level, you progress to a consultant. The journey starts with the basic training course, followed by an additional block on sales training from scratch. And the next thing you do after this is to focus on attracting your first partners, attracting your first investments. Then you refine your skills further by undergoing subject trainings in various key areas, such as sales, where you want to be mastering the art of selling, psychology, where you want to understand how people make decisions and understand people in general, team building, where you want to learn how to lead and how to build strong team. Now let us talk about the basic training, which is also called Quick Start. This is a training for all newcomers who have just joined the Skyward Community Project, and they need guidance on how to get started and grow effectively. This is also for leaders who work with the affiliate program, and they can bring their new affiliates from their team to the platform to watch this basic training. This will eliminate the need for you to explain everything manually and making the training more automated, making the training more efficient, and making the onboarding process for new partners more effective. You bring a new person to your team, and the platform handles their training for you. This saves you time, this saves you effort, and this allows you to scale your team faster and to train even more people more effectively. Now, the basic training has this overview. With it, you can understand the company structure. You can learn about its features, its legal foundations, get a clear guidance on where you want to start and what you want to focus on first. Gain essential knowledge useful for both the new partners starting out as well as experienced partners looking to reinforce the basics. So this basic training is basically useful for every category of partners. Now, I want to ask you a question. If you have a team that is not so big, training them might be so easy. But how do you train a large team in a qualitative way? The answer is to give them a working system. To give them a working system. And you get greater outcome with less effort. Remember the 80-20 rule. By delegating training to the platform, you can free up your time to focus on the 20% of strategic tasks that will give you 80% of the result. Therefore, I highly recommend that you delegate the training to the platform and automate the training process for your new partners. And remember, the strength of your entire team depends on how well you train the members of your team. Now, let us talk about how to join the basic training course on the platform. The first step, of course, is to visit the website, which is located in the address my.swcsmart.com/site/login and enter in that page the same login details you use on the SWC main website. After you have done this, you will be logged in. And it's going to show you an interface with your name, with recent events, your current course, if you already have a course in progress, as well as recommended courses. So to join the basic training course, you click on courses. You filter all courses and all levels. Then navigate to basic training quick start and select it. Or you can just scan the QR code displayed on your screen. It's worth mentioning here that you get a certificate at the end of the course. Now, how does the training take place on the platform? It takes place in the form of short video lessons for quick and effective learning. Each lesson is between 10 to 15 minutes, so it makes it very easy to absorb the information and very easy to apply the information. Then you also have homework assignments that are simple and practical to reinforce what you have learned. And this helps you apply the knowledge and improve your retention capacity. We also give tests which are designed to reinforce what you have learned and also assess how much you understand what you have learned and track your progress. And talking about tracking, we also have trackers who work on the platform, and they are online course curators. They monitor the group progress, they organize these training processes, and they provide you guidance and they provide you feedback. So you also get the courses that are accompanied with trackers. So how do you join this course? Once again, you go to the website, you submit an application, then you join the Telegram channel, Basic Training for Partners. You get assigned to a group with a tracker and you start your course on the platform. Invite all your new partners from your team for training, and the platform will help you and help them adapt and develop within the Skyward Community Company. Now, like I promised, for sticking around, you get this bonus technique. And this bonus technique is called denial in favor of the goal. Now, the world is full of demands from your loved ones, from your colleagues, from everyone. Other people's priority can easily take up space in your Eisenhower metrics, affecting your focus and affecting your own productivity. This means that the tasks you have on your to-do list, they can include both your personal tasks and tasks you want to help other people with. So, you should learn this technique of denial in favor of the goal. You should learn how to be abrasive and how to say no effectively. So, a proper refusal might sound something like this: I would love to help, but I have a key task to complete right now, and my KPI for the month depends on it. I can assist you in 2 or 3 days. Would that work for you? When you refuse in this way, you are not rejecting the person. You are simply prioritizing your own task while still offering to help at a later time. And any rational person understands that priority tasks come first. Every other task should be scheduled at a time that works for everyone involved. And also, what is a priority to you may not be a priority to them, and vice versa. So always remember your Eisenhower metrics and your 80-20 rule. That means remember what is urgent and what is important, and what is the minimum of the most important action that will give me the most result. Also remember, development goes much more effectively in a team of like-minded people. And speaking of a team of like-minded people, Skyward Community has 600,000 plus people across 180 countries who participate in the development of green technologies. And our platform helps in training this incredible team of people because We believe that through education, you can improve your life. Our courses help change the world for the better and contribute to its sustainable development. The future starts with you. Thank you.